5 altcoins, potential alt season on the offing here. Why you should be holding these types of coins though? Hi everyone, hope you're well. If you're new, please do subscribe, tap that bell button so you're notified, and obviously leave a like and comment. Now, we're going to talk about alt season. The most common thing that I get asked, how to see if it's an alt season, why do you stack sats, why do you do this? Well, I'll explain a little bit in here, so please make sure you watch this entire video. Give it a good old push as well to the other side. Now, we need to talk about this. There's rules that I go by. Now, I know this title is pretty dramatic, talk about alt season, and we're looking at a point where maybe a break of a certain level, 60% essentially on the dominance chart, we may well see a drop, and that will mean a flurry of interest in certain altcoins, that kind of momentum effect, the snowball. And I think it's going to all derive from Ethereum essentially. So when Ethereum pops, hello, cool. Now, this is the game. If you're going to remember one thing from this video and one thing only subscribe to me and listen to me, because you're going to get wrecked if you're going to FOMO and jump into coins at tops. Because what's going to happen in the next coming months, I believe the market's going to get bigger, right? And it all derives from this sort of technique I'm going to show you. Alt seasons happen 2 to 3 times per year when it is more dominant than Bitcoin. That's it, simple. How to decide that? Well, you look at the dominance chart. BTC.D on TradingView. When these are quite high, up in these stupid levels, you buy your altcoins with Bitcoin when they're low. As it drops, the Satoshi values of the BTC pairs will increase, i.e. if I look at the likes of Ethereum, right? So we're looking here, this was that last period when it was last high. When it drops, this is when the dominance is high. So this was obviously December. Going back to that dominance chart very, very quickly, December time, it's high. So when you look at the Ethereum chart, it's low. And then when it goes down, it goes up. Make sense? I hope it does. So this, in my opinion, is very much suppressed. I think this is going to be the catalyst that will drive it going. Get it? People interested in altcoins again. And yeah, this still is interested in certain coins, not all of them though. So that you get, at the minute we're getting shoots. Little ones just going pop, 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 right? Basically. So what the game is, you buy your altcoins when it's at these stupidly high levels, randomly high levels, as those charts are getting lower and lower and lower with Bitcoin. This is how you grow your Bitcoin, stacking Satoshis. As it gets lower and lower, you gradually take profit and you put it into Bitcoin to hold. Nice little investment back. So what I've been doing, as it's been dropping down, there's been gradually the stuff that pop, take a little bit of profit, basically. Simple, right? So that's the methodology, right? So in this video, that's simple, right? If you want a visual representation, there's this website here, blockchaincenter.net, right? It's quite a decent little resource. Basically, the game is you buy in the blue, you sell in the red. That's the game that you're playing, right? If you put this onto the 2-year chart as well, you can see here accumulation of altcoins, pop to the upside, take your profit into Bitcoin. You get all these little variations. You can see over a period of 2-3 years, you've had quite a lot of big spells where you can buy, but ultimately, if you go onto like the shorter time frames, you can actually see on a much different scale, especially on the dominance chart, that these happen over a period of, it looks a bit random, but these big drops, they do yield a lot of money for people in terms of extra Bitcoin. And it does happen 2 to 3 times a year, which is pretty cool. It happens in bull markets, bear markets. You can always accumulate Satoshis using this method. So I hope you've learned something. But we need to talk about 5 altcoins, I believe, physically, due to demand, the niche, essentially, their purpose, their use case, their team, all kinds of stuff, even stuff like demand, eyeballs and stuff like that they're relatively unknown, will probably do well. I've picked 5 coins here, all totally different, all random, not so much random, I'm not just picked them out at random, but what I believe that will do well based on past experience and seeing what tends to react well to good alt pushes. The first one is Graph. The Graph. Why? Well, it's a DeFi oracle, essentially, API for all of the DeFi space. It's already got partnerships with Aave, Uniswap, all kinds of stuff like that in terms of fetching that data for people to be a part of it. So when you start looking at how it kind of works, DeFi is a huge thing. Huge storage, huge usage of money, equity, lending, borrowing, all kinds of stuff, right? It's huge. And we saw in the last bull run that DeFi really took off like a rocket. But this has a bit more. This also adopts everything. Governance, grants and philanthropy, marketplaces, most likely like NFTs, entertainment and social. So this is like the one shoe fits all type of asset, essentially, where it could probably do quite a lot of damage in terms of portfolio growth, but also damage of a way as well if the demand drops off like a cliff. But right now, I feel like the demand is fully there, fully working, and I think this is going to go even higher. It's already had a really good push to the upside. If you look at the the price analysis here, had a nice little push, but it's steadied off, it's cooled down, it's chilled out, it's relaxed. So you're thinking overall, it may well get a lot more interest as alt season ramps up, and obviously altcoins get a bigger push versus Bitcoin. So the graph is certainly one of those one shoe fits all. It's relatively high in market cap currently, but for me, I do feel it's going to get even bigger, in my opinion. Moving on to the next one is SwissBorg. Why, you're asking? They've only just released their yield platform, essentially about 2 months ago, give or take. Earn on their own token and earn on Ethereum. I'm actually testing and using the Ethereum side of it. I like it a lot. It's really, really easy to use. You get private keys. It's one of the best and cleanest apps I've ever used. Really like it. But why do I pick this? Demand of altcoins is going to get bigger and better. Demand of earning passive income on a smart contract yield using DeFi protocols is going to get bigger and better. These are going to be putting Bitcoin on their network soon and BNB. So that's important. It's only 1.3 billion. I say only. I remember when this was like 17 million market cap, and I totally, as always, missed the boat with it. But there's other competitors out there that I feel are nowhere near as good as these in terms of the product that they've built. I think their product is absolutely fantastic. There's only 10 million volume on it, and that gives me a massive inkling to understand why. Go to the market. It is very limited on where you can buy. The main focus of this, by the way, is on their own app, which is interesting. More and more people are going to get used to the idea of using SwissBorg because it's easy, pain-free and quick and easy to buy cryptocurrency assets. The problem is Coinbase, bad. Binance, bad. All the other coins, not so much coins, but all the other big assets, equity firms that are going, buy Bitcoin with us. There's some of them are not very good because there's too many people, there's too much going on, and the KYC sucks, and ultimately you go on a waiting list. With this, so easy. Same with Voyager. Voyager's an alternative, it's the same sort of system essentially. Voyager in the US, very, very similar to SwissBorg, obviously in Europe. But I think this, I don't know why, I do feel that this should be on more exchanges. If it is, more exposure, more interest. But for me, I think more people coming to the market, they're going to see this as one of the leading opportunities to buy into the asset, essentially. And obviously using the asset, it's going to increase the volume of this. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So I like this a lot. The next one is reserve rights. Yes. Demand of this is going through the roof right now in and around the world of basically poverty-stricken, hyperinflation countries. Now, that's important as a demand. It's now $1.2 billion in valuation, which is really, really good. And the supply is changing all the time because of demand. It is ranked really high in certain app stores right now. It is doing phenomenally well, and it hasn't had a mainnet yet. It's still building, and it's already got demand. That is huge. They've obviously been backed as well by some huge big hitters, and I honestly recommend anyone have a little bit of research, dig into what their purpose is and why they're using it. The reason why I think this is going to do so well, it's not so much the demand of normal retail buyers, it's demand of usage in real life situations. Hyperinflation, quantitative easing, the stimulus checks, money is going to get worse in certain countries because they are so much heavily reliant on the dollar. The dollar is dying, we know that. And these have a solution. And people are using that solution right now. Without a proper mainnet, without it fully built, it's like amazing. and it's still under the radar in my opinion. I think so many people are kind of sleeping on this still ranked 74. It's still only $1.2 billion, and it's on a monstrous rise. It's only on a couple of exchanges realistically. When you think about it, it's not on Coinbase yet. It's not on all the leading. It's only on Huobi and Binance as the two leading exchanges. It could go on much more overall. Really, it can. So for me, if we're looking at real life data, real life purpose, altcoins go berserk. People are always going to go towards certain things, especially the big investors, to a proper solid use case and backed by millions. And this is backed by some, like PayPal, Coinbase. There's some big people here, so that's important. Moving on to the next one, Federal Reserve. Why this one? Well, again, it's relatively under the radar. It's got a solid use case with DeFi, with middlemen sort of kind of tier of buying into certain crypto assets for people who want to provide liquidity into the market. So when you think about it in terms of simple lines of the solution is, it's a banking software that is built on the blockchain for traditional banks, essentially of US Treasury kind of chartered banks and non-banking lenders for greater liquidity without the sacrifice of security. So you're thinking about getting liquidity fast, money fast, cash assets released. It's a pain in the ass. If you do that in real life, it's a pain in the ass. This aims to solve that solution for quick readiness in terms of a traditional banking software which works on the blockchain, which is very interesting. The development lines look really good in terms of what they've actually built. It looks brilliant. You can see it all on their Medium page. Their roadmap, they're looking to get onto a tier 1 exchange in the next month or so. So stand by, because if people are scared to use Uniswap, which I fully understand is quite daunting and ultimately the fees are ridiculous, there's going to be a massive gateway for this when it hits a proper big exchange. So maybe you may see a massive price jolt in this, but in terms of use case, it's one of the most solid ones out there because it is a big demanding problem in America right now, and this aims to solve that. It is an American company. We all know what happens to American companies when they hit the ground running, especially in crypto. They tend to do pretty well, so just keep an absolute eye on this one. For me, the founders are brilliant, doing really well. Yes, there's a few little things that need addressed and changed, like little updates here and there, but they are building a solid product, and that is the main purpose of any new solid asset. Not the website, not the logos, not the basic stuff. Get that product perfect, and it looks like they are well on their way. And the last one, I've not talked about this one before, but Bondly. Why Bondly? NFTs, very much hype. This is probably one of the most lowest valued in terms of NFTs out there, but it's also had a lot of interest in terms of celebrity backing and endorsements of NFT collections like Logan Paul, and I think they've got like Pokemon stuff on here, all kinds of stuff. And regardless of what you believe in NFTs, I personally am a bit skeptical of NFTs in terms of collections, but we've got a lot of things happening with this. This is going to be going potentially to a parachain bond, so Polkadot, Kusama, etc. Get a parachain going. That's going to be very much brilliant for a multi-chain asset, interoperability with other chains. We think volume and the driver volume for NFTs. Most NFT apps are on Ethereum. This is one that's on obviously Polkadot potentially. So this is going to get very interesting, very quick to see where it goes. And we talk about undervalued here. I think this is majorly undervalued, even though it has had a nice little run. But you think about it, again, not much exposure to markets at all, hardly any. It's crazy. So it's important to understand that. No exposure, parachain coming, NFTs are growing, Bondly might be the one that could do some nice gains. So, video done. 5 coins that I believe will do well in this potential alt season. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll speak to you very soon.